What's up, everybody? I go by the name of Zimboy, popularly known as Zimboy, but my real name is Tafadzwa, Elson Muchechetere. You know, everyone just assumes that my second name is Jackson because that's what I used to say, but actually my full name is Tafadzwa Elson Muchechetere. I'm the founder and director of Changamire Hip Hop Festival and Changamire Festival Awards, right? So I was born in 12 April 1995. That makes me 30 years old, just before the 10th Changamire Awards. The journey for Changamire starts with a personal journey that is my hip hop life. I finished high school in 2013, and during that time, that's the time when I wanted to be a rapper. So the background of Changamire starts with me wanting to be an artist, right? So in 2013, when I was doing my A-levels, I decided, let me start recording. So I went to Tricky J's studio in Waterfalls. I recorded my first song, and I did an EP called Road to Glory. Then I did a second EP, Road to Glory 2, yeah? So during that time, I was looking for shows, and we're talking about 2013, 2014, and there were no shows. There was no platforms where artists could just go and rap and do rap music. There was just, you know, dancehall, a bit of urban grooves, but there was no hip hop platforms. So what I thought was, you know what, why don't I create the platform? Because I could not get shows or get booked. So I thought, you know what, let me create a platform, and then I start rapping at the platform, right? So I started off doing a bit of shows. In 2014, that's when we had a Big Apple opening. I started doing shows there. And then, you know, the more I organized shows, the more I realized I was actually better at organizing than being on the mic. You know, sometimes when you try to be jack of all trades, you become a master of none. So I did intense realism, and I told myself, you know what, I think I'm going to do better as a promoter other than an artist. So in 2015, January 2015, we sat down with Aldrin Beefy Harrison. He's also part of the origins of the Changamire Festival, Changamire Hip Hop Festival. So we sat down, then we realized, you know what, let's create an event that happens each and every month end for hip hop, for every upcoming artist, every hip hop artist, and then, you know, we do it monthly. And then I came up with the name Changamire, and then, yeah, that was the birth of Changamire Hip Hop Festival. It was done each and every month at Rooftop. That was the first venue for the Changamire, and then we went on to start doing monthly shows, right, in different cities. The first year we simply did Harare mostly, but then we did a bit of Blawayo, and then we did Mutare. So after we finished 1 year of these shows, I decided, you know what, why not create a platform where we award people who were coming at the festivals, the best of the people who were performing at the festivals, and then we give them prizes. That was the birth of now Changamire Festival Awards, which we have now changed to Changamire Hip Hop Festival Awards, because now we have just branded it fully for hip hop, Zimbabwean hip hop music, yeah, and a bit of African hip hop also. So we went on to start our Changamire Festival Awards, 2016. The first venue for the awards was at 1+1 back then. Now it's called Woods and Pegola Gardens. Yeah, I think that's the name that they use. It's there by Crown Plaza. It's there by Longcheng Plaza here in Harare. So that's the venue we used. We did our first awards there. Then we did our second awards there. And then we went on to move to Sankai. Sankai, owned by the late Boss Jinimbi. We spoke to Boss Jinimbi, and then he said, okay, you can bring the awards to what? To Sankai. We also did an edition also at Dreams. So basically, if you're to count, the first award ceremony was in January 2016, which makes this year the 10th year of the Changamire Festival Awards. But then for the Changamire Festival, we are now 11 years running, and we're still doing our monthly shows using other platforms like Essential Sundays, using other platforms like various events that just happen in the city where we just enter and partner, right? One thing that people should also note is during the time when Changamire was coming up, we were very prudent in having upcoming artists, and we have a bunch of artists that came through the hands of Changamire, right? And during that time, you also have to understand that I've been managing artists, right? Mentoring them, nurturing them so that they get to be, you know, the superstars that you know today. For instance, what I can say is that I've been part of the journey for T-Gons. I was part of the journey for Takura when he was starting before it was a big brand. We did the Stripped Varsity tour, and that was a very essential part of the brand Takura. I was part of multiple other artists. I think the most notable one is being manager for Kiki Badass, manager for Kruger, you know, because those brands I actually managed for, you know, more than 3 years, right? Just creating the superstars that you know them as right now. Everyone is always asking why the name Changamire, but then the explanation is direct as you guys would think, where we are saying that Changamire stands for royalty, right? Royalty, we're talking about, you know, just the lineage being, you know, of an upper level. So we're saying the genre hip hop is what royalty in the country, right? Just like Changamire Dombo, you know, just like Changamire Mponesi, you know. So basically what we are saying with the name Changamire is that the genre, we're trying to make it, you know, as royal as it can be. So that's where the name Changamire came from. It wasn't anyone's name. It wasn't derived from anything that I've seen, but it was just something that came up because of what we wanted to do. We wanted to take hip-hop, turn it into something that is royal, like what it is now. That's what we put our work and time to achieve. I think the background that I was already a fan of hip-hop is very key in what we are now calling the Changamire Festival Awards, because what started was the passion. Because anything that you do which is passion driven, right? You have no limits because you already want to do it. There's people who do things because they want money out of it. There's people who do things because probably they just want the fame. They want the girls that come with what getting famous. But for me, it was something different. It was the passion for you know, just loving hip hop. You know, just emulating other artists like Lil Wayne in the States, how Jay-Z did with Rock Nation, how even on our African continent, how the Nigerians were taking their Afro-pop and just turning it into something international that they can sell. So that passion, personal background, is what drove me to then, you know, mold Changamire into becoming one of the biggest platforms for Zimbabwean hip-hop right now. I think one of the biggest achievements that I can say Changamire has done or has brought is the fact that, you know, it has molded so many superstars. I have so many artists that I can tell you for firsthand that they held the mic for the first time on a Changamire platform. You know, my personal favorite, of course, because she is now, you know, really popping off right now and really just molding this hip-hop into something more fun. You see, Young Gemini. I met Young Gemini when we had an edition at Basement, right? She was confident because she wanted to be an artist, right, at the time. But, you know, she just wanted to know the way. So, you know, to just take someone and then make them hold the mic and then make them perform for the first time and then watch the journey as the artist grows from that into something where we now say, all right, this is a force to reckon with. It's just something that's amazing for me. And I'm just like listing just one artist, but there's so many artists where we are saying that, all right, on a monthly basis with people like T Guns, with people like Kiki, with people like Kruger, with people like Natasha Moose, with people like Tashami Swa, with people like, you know, the list is endless. You know, I met Saint Flo, who's now a big superstar right now, but I met Saint Flo way back. You know, I'm talking of 10 years ago. You know, young, vibrant, energetic, you know, ambitious, Saint Flo, very, very talented. We molded that. So one of the biggest achievements for Changamire is just, you know, the superstars it has created, the industry, the growth of Zimbabwean hip hop. Like the time when we started this, there was no one coming to hip hop shows. We would be just artists only, right? And there was no one was making money with hip hop. You understand? And right now we're talking that right now we have artists that are cashing $3,000 for just a 1 hour performance or 30 minutes performance. We have multiple artists right now that are brand superstars. You know, if you talk of notable artists like Holy 10, Vos JT, Saint Flo, Bling 4, Baga, you know, all of these artists, you know that they are cashing each and every weekend, different shows, different cities, different countries. So when anyone asks me what are the achievements of Changamire, it's simply, you know, the superstars it created, the industry it molded. I think one of the biggest moments, I won't lie to you, when it comes to the Changamire, I would like to talk of a guy that came and really trended in this country. It was called All White Lord, All White Papa, you know, T-Mac. T-Mac came through and he did his thing, right? So we had, they were set in, it was in 2018, right? If I'm not mistaken, it was, around that time, 2018, right? I think that was the edition at Dreams. So what happened was T-Mac called me up at Mikkel's Hotel and then he said, Zimboy, I want to pay for people to enter at the Changamire Awards. I want them to just, you know, enter for free. So he said, Zimboy, here's 2.5. I'm paying for everyone. And then when I get there, I'm going to be buying champagne and drinks for everyone in the house. So to have someone support you like that and to have someone just love people who are loving the same thing as you love is one of the most notable things I can say I've seen at the Changamire Awards. So yeah, I would say that. Shout out to T-Mac, that was a big move. And in that edition also we had King Lucia. I'm sure King Lucia, he came through also. He put out, you know, if I keep saying numbers, then you guys will think I'm always making money, but no, it's for the industry at the end of the day. So yeah, that edition was really something else. In terms of impact, like I indicated just now, it all comes back to the superstars that were created. It all comes back to what the Changamire molded Zimbabwean hip hop to be like. You know, there's artists that we can never run away from, and we say, all right, these artists that came through and they made sure that Zimbabwean hip hop turns commercial. You know, there's no doubt that we speak of an era, 2013, 2014, thereabout, where, you know, we had Few Kings, we had 10 Diamond there, we had Junior Brown, we had Tech Fizo, we had MMT, you know, Tate the MC Mariachi, and MC Cut. During that era, Zimbabwean hip hop was going up, and we would say, all right, these are the artists that set the tune to commercialize the music, right? But then there's platforms that made that music now become a lifestyle, become a culture. And that's where we come in and we say, all right, now people could now come and listen to this music and dance to this music and just be in their hip hop vibe, you know, from the fashion to, you know, just the music, the DJs and everything. In the early days, the most challenging thing was to explain to people that, you know, hip hop is a genre. As funny as it sounds, in Zimbabwe, remember, hip hop is a foreign culture, right? So now for you to come to someone and say, yo, we want to do something hip hop here at your venue, they'll be wondering, oh, so you want to do that stuff that Jay-Z does there. You are not in America. So the first days, it was very difficult because people didn't understand that, no, this culture, this is just a culture, urban culture that the kids are getting into, because now there was access to internet. So anyone right now can, you know, just emulate anyone they want from any corner of this planet. Yeah. So it was very difficult to get venues. It was very difficult to get sponsorship because people didn't understand what hip hop was. Yeah. But now that people know, right? It's now a whole different thing. Things are moving, but then just as a brand also, we still are appealing to the corporate world, where we are saying, all right, yes, let's support Sungura, let's support our gospel, all right, let's support the biggest artists in the country for brand endorsements, but then they're not really coming in and being involved in these festivals, you know, not just the Changamire, but a lot of them. Because if we look at other countries like South Africa, we have big brands like Red Bull coming in, doing biggest festivals, and, you know, telecommunication companies coming in and putting in real money. You know, if the corporate world would partner with, you know, these festivals, they grow into, you know, premium entertainment, because at the end of the day, what we want to do is to have people enjoy life, have entertainment, so that time moves, right? We don't want people to be in the streets doing drugs, you know, getting stressed, depressed, having people do suicides. If we focus on the youth, entertain the youth, we're going somewhere. The biggest thing that most Africans, or maybe people who get to be in charge of something, their biggest thing is not being able to, you know, let go or give opportunity for, you know, new ideas to come in. So when you say what's the future of Changamire, I'll tell you the future of Changamire is me stepping down from being, you know, the director, and then letting some fresh new eyes also pitching and, you know, take Changamire into a new direction and maybe even grow it to, you know, another level. Because right now I feel like I've put in 10 years with Changamire. I've molded it. The structure is there. People know what it is. Hip hop is there. The industry is there. But we just need fresh new energy, fresh new minds, you know, fresh new set of eyes. So the future of Changamire is probably me just monitoring on the side and letting someone jump in and, you know, take it to wherever heights it's going to be. But not saying that I am not going to, you know, be involved in also just pitching in so that we move. But I'm saying it's been me mostly for the Changamire Awards. It's been me monitoring everything, and, you know, because most people come in when it's time for the awards, in terms of adjudication of, you know, nominations, where we select various people to, you know, come up with the nominees list, like, you know, radio people, TV people, bloggers and everything, because the list comes from multiple people, and then our Changamire executive then just compiles everything. But then in this case, we're saying that, all right, the Changamire is now turning into something that is bigger than just me. You know, we have a notable thing will be, you know, Tara Jeta from the United States. She's coming in. She's going to be now the director from next year, 2026. And then we have 3 other people that are also coming in and partnering and being part of the executive, right? So at least now, the thing is now bigger than just what I see and what I perceive as the direction of the Changamire Awards. Advice I can give to artists is And this advice does not have any boundaries. It's just for anyone, you know. Once you put your mind to something, just do it. People will always say something, whether you're doing good or bad or whatever. So if you put your mind to something, there's no limit. I'll tell you this, I started Changamire Festival as a teenager, you know. I always ask myself, like, where are the lighties with the drive that I used to have? I would have stepped down way back if I had met just one person who has that drive and says, you know what, I want to push this limit. I want to push this limit, because that's what I did. I would go to a new city, find a new venue, without knowing anyone there, without even knowing where I would sleep, and then set up a show and do it. Go to Zambia, do the same thing. Go to South Africa, do the same thing. In 2018, I was staying in South Africa the whole year, just going from studio to studio, meeting each and every artist that was there. I met everybody from AKA, Ricky Rig, Casper. That's how now I managed to bring, you know, and be part of shows like bringing Costa Teach, rest in peace, bringing Ricky Rig, rest in peace, Ricky Rig, you know. And, you know, the most controversial one, of course, bringing Nadia Nakai to Zimbabwe. All of those things. We do it not because money is in the pocket, no, but because we're passion-driven and we want to see something grow into something that is different, you know. So that's just that. Believe in yourself. That's the first thing. Passion and the drive, not the money. What starts is the idea. Once you have the idea, once we have the drive, nothing can stop. How we are supposed to, you know, just honor these artists is always the same. The platform is meant to, you know, just uplift the works of what people are doing right now, right? So at the 10th ceremony, the platform is bigger now. The eyes are looking at the 10 years of work that have been done. So whoever artist is going to be nominated, whatever artist that's going to win, is getting the biggest honor of the hip-hop community and the entertainment industry in this country. Because we are saying a platform that is 10 years of doing the same thing. That means that we know exactly where we're going, we know exactly what we are. And when we say, we've nominated you for Best Male, we've nominated you for People's Choice, it only means that it's the best of the best. So the general Zimbabweans are going to what? To respect the artists. They're going to also analyze and just, you know, closely monitor whatever brand that we're going to nominate. Yeah. So what we expected, the 10th Changamire Awards is certainly nothing short of amazing. We are definitely going to bring up the most amazing performances. We're going to be at Nash TV. That's the venue, you know, with Mr. Mtarisi there. We're going to have wonderful hosts, Yaya Good Vibes, Alan Skits. On the red carpet, it's going to be Art Perry and Cody Rank Marshall. We're going to have so many performances coming through. We even have a Sungura surprise act coming from one of big Sungura artists. So just expect, you know, various things and popular things. I think lastly, I'd like to, you know, just thank some of the people who made the journey move smoothly for us, you know, this 10 years. I'd start by thanking, you know, all the sponsors that have ever come on board for the Changamire Awards and the Changamire editions, all the companies that have supported us. I think let me just list a few. Techno Mobile, when Techno came through in Phoenix, Oraimo, talk of Treetop Security, we talk of Third World Entertainment, we talk of various other companies. I can't list them all, but then just know we appreciate all the contributions you've ever made towards the Changamire. Tetanus Boss, we appreciate you. RIP Boss Jinimbi, he was very supportive of the Changamire Festival Awards. And then, you know, there's just some notable people also, like Adrian Biffy Harrison. He was really part of, you know, creating this platform. Tricky J, he comes from way, you know, he was part of my journey. So definitely I would name drop. Then of course all the artists that have ever believed in this dream for me, you know, from Phil Kings, coming into you know, the new generation from Holy 10 to Volts, Kiki. A big shout out to just the whole industry, because the industry is what makes Changamire. Without hip hop, there's no Changamire. Without the artists coming through to support, there is no Changamire. So I really appreciate all of that. And to the fans of hip hop is not going anywhere. It's here to stay. You're gonna stay entertained.